Hello, good morning students. How are you? I am Dr. R.P. Sharma, the physics educator. So today we will continue the applications of the dimensional analysis. The first application we have done previously, okay, that is checking the correctness of a given relation or formula. So today we will take the second application of dimensional analysis, which says that is how to derive a relation for a physical quantity depending on other number of quantities, right? So let's see. So basically the today's major topic is deducing or deriving relation among the physical quantities. So there are certain rules which we need to know when we will be deriving the relation for any physical quantity. So the step 1 is, you please remember, or you can write it also, assume a dependence for a physical quantity. Suppose any physical quantity P depends on some other physical quantity X, Y and Z, but we don't know whether it is directly proportional or reciprocal or otherwise. So therefore we consider some unknown powers, that is X raised to power A, Y raised to power B, Z raised to power C, and the moment we equate it, there is always concept of proportionality. And here the concept of proportionality is always a dimensionless constant, that is it will not have any dimensional formula. So the first step is we assume the dependence of a physical quantity in terms of other quantity on which it depends with some unknown powers A, B and C. Now the second step is we will write the dimensions of both sides, that is left hand side as well as right hand side. Now the next third step will be, after simplifying the left hand side and right hand side, we will compare the powers of M, L and T, that is these fundamental units. So when you will compare, you will find the values of A, B and C which were unknown here. And then in next step we can put these powers or the values, okay, by comparing the powers on the assumed relations. Clear? So in this way we will be getting the final relation. So to understand this better way, we will take number of examples. So the first example we can take, that is whenever an object or particle, say of mass m, right, moves in a circular path of say radius r about the center. So suppose it is moving in a circular path like this, okay, this way, alright, with certain velocity v. So the question is, there will be a centripetal force, okay, experienced by the particle or object towards the center. So that force is called centripetal force. So here the question is that derive a relation for the centripetal force F, which depends on the mass of the particle and the velocity of the particle whether it is moving, and of course the radius of that very circular path. So because we don't know, it just depends. So therefore we will assume, as per the first step, let F is proportional to M raised to power A, the V raised to power B and R raised to power C. So M is the mass, V is the velocity, R is the radius, okay, and A, B, C are the powers. Now remember please, it is immaterial, that is whether we take M, B or R first or second or third place, okay, it is up to you to decide. You can take V also at first place with power A, so no problem at all. So the second step will be, then we can equate it, okay, so F is equal to some constant K, M raised to power A, V raised to power B, R raised to power C, and let us put it as equation 1, right? So this way we have used the the two steps. First step we assume the relation, right, and the second step also we have used, we have written some unknown powers A, B, C. Now our main purpose will be to find these values of A, B and C, and after finding them we will substitute those values here to get the final relation on the basis of dimensions. Now the third step is we will be writing the dimensional formula of both sides, okay. So what is the dimensional formula of F? we have written already mLT minus 2, right? K being a dimensional cause doesn't have any dimension. Now the mass is capital M, right, but raised to power A. Now velocity, that is LT minus 1, so raised to the power B. Rather the power should be put on outside the square bracket, okay? And the radius is nothing but length, so that is L raised to power C. Clear? So be very focused while writing this, okay? So it is M, so M raised to power unknown A, and that is velocity LT minus 1 raised to power B, and R is length, that is raised to power C. So you can simplify this. So you will find here that M raised to power A, fine, L raised to power B from here and C from here. So the moment you will combine, you will find, because in product the powers are added of similar quantities. So this will become L raised to power B plus C, and of course T raised to power minus B. So this is the resultant dimensional formula for right hand side. And the left hand side we were already having mLT minus 2, that of the force. So after simplifying the equation till this step, okay, so now here is also mLT and this is also mLT. So we can simply compare the powers of M, L and T both sides. So you can simply say comparing, okay, comparing powers of M, L and T both sides. So you will easily get. So you can compare the power of M here with this mass, and of length L this side, of this L, and the time this. So you can simply see when we compare the power of M. So here it is unknown power A and here is unknown power 1. So therefore you will get, okay, for mass M, you see A is equal to 1. This is one of the direct answer. Now you better to consider the term first from which we can get the direct answer. So I am able to see here T raised to power minus B and T raised to power minus 2. So for time, you see here minus B is equal to minus 2. So that means B is equal to 2. Clear? Now length is left. So here length is B plus C and here it is 1. So for length when we compare, okay, you will find B plus C is equal to 1. So we need to find out C. Okay, so from here C is equal to 1 minus B and B you got as minus 2. So therefore it is 1 minus 2. So the value of C is nothing but minus 1. So here we got the value of A, we get the value of B, we get the value of C. So then we will substitute these powers in the assumed relation 1. Clear? This one. So we can say when we will substitute powers, so we can say put or substitute, okay, substitute or put values of A, B and C in equation 1. We will get F is equal to the K M raised to power A. A is 1. So generally we don't write 1, right? Or you can simply say we can later remove it. And V, velocity raised to power B. So V and B value is 2. And then R raised to C, C is minus 1. That is R is minus 1. Minus 1 power means you can take it in denominator. So you may have that K M V square upon R. So therefore this is the final relation K M V square upon R. This is the final relation for centripetal force experienced by an object or particle of mass m moving with velocity v in a circular path of radius r. But when the value of k is being found out, okay, so generally you will see the different constant proportionalities are having different values and different positions, okay. So here k is generally equal to 1. So final relation we say F is equal to mv square upon r. This is very important relation, okay, used in the numerical problems. So I am sure you might have understood this. Is clear? So I will repeat once again before taking the other questions. There were basically 4 steps. First of all, we assume the relation and write this one with some constant proportionality, which is dimensionless. Then the second step, we are writing the dimensions of both sides. And thirdly, we are comparing the powers of MLTs both sides to get ABC. And fourthly, we are putting the powers of ABC in the assumed relation. And finally, we are getting the final answer. Is it clear? Is clear? I think I'm sure you may be understanding all this. Okay. So now let's proceed on the second. Should I rub it? Okay, so once we are aware with these steps, I think, have you noted them down? So I can rub them also. All right. So then we will take another example so that you can understand this application of dimensional analysis is very important. Okay, and there are certain questions, okay, in your internal examination as well as in IIT JEE or NEET exam. Clear? Okay, now the second we can take the very important one. Okay, this one is very simpler, that is the time period of a simple pendulum depends on the length of the pendulum and of course the accelerator due to gravity, and as well as you can consider the mass of the ball. But that's very simpler example. So let us take some good one, okay, that is important one. So we can say the time of oscillation of a liquid drop. So whenever there is a liquid drop, okay, so it also vibrate, okay, so whenever there are vibrations there will be a time period. So there is a question, that is a time period of a liquid drop which is vibrating, okay, depends on the surface tension of the liquid, the density of the liquid, and of course the radius of the tube in which that bubble is oscillating or the liquid drop is oscillating. So there is a language actually, but I have not written, I am just simply stating, that is time of oscillation of a liquid drop T depends on surface tension of the liquid and the density of the liquid, and of course the radius of that tube in which, or the pipe in which the liquid drop is oscillating. So we have to derive a relation for time of oscillation of the liquid drop. So as you know, again the same fundamental, okay, we will assume the relation, let the time of oscillation is directly proportional to, say, or it depends on density, the density and surface tension and the radius. So you know that we can assume some unknown powers. Let us say these unknown powers are A, B and C. Clear? So this is the surface. When we equate it, okay, so you will get a constant, okay. So that is a sigma raised to power A, rho raised to power B and R raised to power C, and let us put it as equation 1. Clear? So that is the first step, okay. Now what is the next step? We will be finding the dimensional formula of both sides. So we can say writing dimensional formula of both sides. What do we get? So here is time of oscillation. So we'll write the standard form, m0 L0 t is a time period, okay, is equal to k being constant, doesn't have any dimensions because it is dimensionless. Now the surface tension. So as I told you in the previous class, if you know the formula directly, well and good. If you don't know, derive it, okay? Okay, here nearby. So the surface tension basically was defined as force per unit length, and force was mlt minus 2, and here is L. So L get cancelled, so it was basically ml0 t minus 2. So you can find out to here, okay, side by side. So the surface tension is having the dimensions of m and if L is not here, so you can directly take mt minus 2 because there is a power A here. Now density is mass upon volume. So this was ml minus 3 raised to power B, and R is L, so raised to power C. Clear? So then we will simplify. So please check, okay, before proceeding further, because all steps should be very correct. So surface tension is important, okay, that is a force upon length. Force was ml t minus 2, okay, upon L get cancelled, so ml0 t minus 2. So fine, so mt minus 2 but raised to power A. Now second one, density, mass per unit length, okay, or mass per unit volume. Volume is L3 but it goes up, okay, so ml3 minus 1 raised to power B, and L raised to power C. Let's simplify. So here we will get m. So here is power A and multiple there, so therefore plus B as well. Now L. So here is, you are having L but it is minus 3B, right? And C here also, so plus C, correct? And then T also here, so that is T raised to power minus of 2A. So this is the final relation for right hand side, okay, and ml t's, and the left hand side is m0 l0 t. So we have written the dimensions, okay, of both sides, okay, and simplified till this step. Clear? Now what is the next step? We will compare the powers, and as I suggested, okay, we can take that comparison, okay, from which we get some direct answer. So if you take time, so when you will compare time, so minus 2a, here is a 1, okay, so you will get some direct value, okay. So you can simply say comparing powers of m, l and t both sides. Clear? So when you compare for time, okay, so you will see minus 2a is equal to 1 or a is equal to minus half, because this 2 goes down, okay. Next you can take mass, that is when we compare for mass, you will find a plus b here and it is 0, so that is equal to 0. So that means b is equal to minus a, or a you got earlier, okay, so that minus and minus half, so therefore you are getting value of b as half. Clear? Now we will compare the L as well. So therefore for L you will see minus 3b plus c is equal to again 0, because L is here 0 and it is minus 3b plus c. So we need to find out c. So this become 3b positive and b is nothing but half. So it is 3 by 2. So in this way we got all the values, okay, that c is equal to 3 by 2. So once we know the formula, all right, so once we know this values of A, B and C, it will be very easy for us, okay, to write down the final relation. So these ABC values we will put in the relation. So therefore we can say substituting or putting values of A, B and C in equation 1. So you will get the relation T is equal to this constant K. Now surface tension sigma A. A is minus half. Alright. Now the density power B. B is half. And R is C, that is 3 by 2. Now this is the minus half, okay, so you can take it in denominator. So therefore it is K. So you are left with the rho raised to power half, that is symbol of density, and R is 3 by 2, and of course this become sigma half positive because you have taken in denominator. Now you see that half refers to a square root. So rather you can say K here. So that is a rho R the power 3 and of course sigma, and this all, even these both the terms are having, you know, half power, and this is also having half power, so you can put it as rather a square root. So therefore this become K a square root of rho R cube upon sigma. So as I told you, this is the relation basically K is equal to square root of R rho R cube upon sigma. Clear? So this is the basically dependence. So K is of course a constant, okay, may have any value, okay. So therefore you can simply say that T, that is the time of oscillation of the liquid drop, is directly proportional to a square root of rho R cube upon sigma. Is clear? I think you understood this well. Yes. All right. So please note them, all these steps. Should we proceed now? All right. So the next we can take some more examples. Okay. All right. So next is so whenever there is a when water flows, okay, through any water channel, so we will say the wave velocity or velocity of the water wave, okay. So question is velocity of water wave V will depend on whenever the water waves are there, okay. So there will be a wavelength, okay. There is a density of the liquid and of course acceleration due to gravity as well. So question says the velocity of water waves V depends on the wavelength and density and acceleration due to gravity. Alright, but we don't know whether they are directly proportional or reciprocal or square or cube root or half root, whatever it is, okay. So we will simply assume as usual. So V, let's say V proportional to this. Now what we do, we will put some unknown powers A, B and C. So then we can equate it, okay, some constant K, lambda raised to power A, rho raised to power B and G raised to power C, and say is equation 1. As you know very well, the K is nothing but simply the constant proportionality, which is a dimensionless constant, may have different values, numerical value in different relations, but if we don't know, put it or leave it like this one. Clear? What is the next step? We will be writing the dimensional formula. So again say writing dimensional formula of both sides. What is this? The velocity m0 at t minus 1. K doesn't have any dimension. Now wavelength simply the length. So that is L raised to power A. Density, mass upon volume, okay, that is ml minus 3 but raised to power B. Acceleration Lt minus 2, because whether it is ordinary acceleration or the acceleration due to gravity has the same dimensions. Simplify it. M raised to power B, because here is B. Now L. So L is here, this is the A, and here it is minus 3B, because B is multiplied by minus 3. And here is also 1L, so that is plus C. Now take time. So time here is minus 2C. So this is the final resultant, MLT on right hand side, and on left hand side M0 at T minus 1. Then what we do? Tell me. So once you get this step, okay, so final step is now to compare the powers of MLT both sides. Good. So let's compare. So comparing powers of M, L and T both sides. Clear? So you directly see here, okay, here is B is coming as 0, because I just suggested though we can take one by one M, L and T, okay, but we can take the term first, okay, from which we get some direct value. So when we compare for mass M, you see here is B 0, so that means B is 0, no problem. Now you can compare T first, okay. So for time T, you will see here it is minus 2C, here it is minus 1, so C will be equal to half. Now this one, that is L. So when you compare for L, it is A minus 3B plus C is equal to 1. So what is left? Now A is left. So A is equal to 1 and the 3B goes this side, so plus 3B and minus C. Alright. So therefore you will see now B was already 0. So 1 and it is 0 and minus, and C was having value half only. So minus half, that 1 minus half. So means you are left with half. So A is having value half. So we are having all the three values. A is half, B is 0 and C is half again. So substitute these values, okay, in this relation 1. So when you will put values of A, B and C in equation 1, you will see the velocity is equal to K. Now lambda raised power A. A is half. Now density rho, that's a B. So density, but it was 0 and action due to gravity is minus half. Okay, it is minus half. No, it's positive half. Yes, is half. So now you see, though we assumed that is velocity depends on density as well, but incidentally power is 0 and any number raised to power 0 is 1. So finally you will see is equal to K lambda half, and that is a G half, because rho raised to power 0 is 1. So this is the dependence, that is V therefore depends on wavelength power half and G power half. So you can simply say proportional to a square root of lambda into G, that is wavelength of the water waves and acceleration due to gravity. Now one important concept we are finding, though we assumed that velocity depends on these three factors, okay, but if it will not depend on any one of the factor, you will find that term will automatically be ignored or neglected, because though we assumed for dependence in terms of rho, that is density, but yet we got the value of power 0, so hence term become 1 only, that is there is no dependence of velocity of water waves on density of the liquid. Clear? Yes. So I think it's very interesting, okay. So once you remember these steps, okay, which I gave in the beginning, so it's becoming very, very easy and interesting. I'm sure you may be enjoying these questions. Clear? So I think we can take few more, okay, as far as competitive exams are concerned, okay. So yes, I would like to take few more because they are very important. So once we practice a large number of questions, okay, then you will be having mastery of questions on this topic. Clear? Yes. So please note it down, and now I am taking the next question. That is, see, whenever some liquid flows through a pipeline, suppose this is the pipeline, okay, and there is some pressure difference between the two ends. L is the length, okay, R is the radius, alright, and because it's a viscous liquid like glycerin and all, so let's eta is the viscosity, okay, and R is the radius. Clear? So what will be the rate of flow of volume, that is how much liquid is flowing per unit of time. So the question says, that is the volume of liquid flowing per second or per unit time will depend on the pressure, will depend on the length of the tube, on the viscosity eta, and a full radius of tube, that is R. But if you remember the limitations of the dimension formula, okay, which we discussed in previous class, okay, if the quantity depends more than 3 factors, then it will be very difficult for us to derive a relation. So what should we do? We have to convert it into 3 terms only, then and all, then we can proceed further, okay. So there is a one term called pressure gradient. even we wrote the dimensional formula for this, okay, pressure gradient, okay, pressure gradient, this was pressure upon length. So we can consider that term, okay, as single, okay. So when we consider the dependence of this rate of flow of liquid, that is the volume of the liquid flowing per unit time, will depend on, say, like this, what? The pressure gradient, that is pressure upon length, okay. Assume, say, raised to power A, eta raised to power B, and R raised to power C. But I told you it is immaterial whether you take this term first, okay. You can take eta with power A, R raised to power B, or P by L as C. It's immaterial. So in any order we can take, okay. So therefore, earlier I was just having the four terms, basically pressure, length, eta, R, okay. But you know, as per the limitations, okay, I have converted them into three, okay, because now it will be, you know, easy for us, okay, to derive a relation. So what we do, then we will equate it, okay. So there will be some constant K, and that is P by L raised to power A, eta raised to power B, R raised to power C. Say this is equation 1. So I think now you are becoming very smarter, so you can easily write down the dimension formula. Now very important term, you know, this is showing basically the volume symbolically, but actually it is the rate of flow of liquid, that is the amount of the volume of liquid flowing per second, per unit time. So basically, as far as dimensions are concerned, it will have the dimensions of volume per second, per unit time. So it's very important you have to think, okay. So we will be writing the dimension formula, that is writing dimension formula of both sides. So you will see M0 volume is L3, but because it's per second, so therefore T minus 1 is equal to K is dimensionless constant. Now pressure gradient, so we don't know as of now. So first of all you find out the pressure. Pressure was basically force upon area, so this was equal to ml minus 1 T minus 2, right? But again divided by L, so therefore minus 2. So this will be the dimension formula of pressure gradient, okay, of both. Or you can write separately also, that pressure, or this is my pressure gradient I have written directly. So here you can take M L minus 2 T minus 2, but raised to power A. Even we don't know the dimensions of viscosity or coefficient of viscosity. Clear? This one. So what was the dimension of viscosity? We don't know. So basically, if you find, you know, I gave one relation, okay, F is equal to 6 pi eta RV. So from here the eta was force, that is ml T minus 2, and of course it was L, and velocity is LT minus 1. So I think it was ml minus 1 T minus 1, yeah. So as I told you, as and when we are not directly knowing the dimension formula of any quantity, no problem at all, right? Side by side you can calculate or find out again. So the viscosity is having dimensions of ml minus 1 T minus 1, and here power is B, and radius is of course L, that is power C. So let us simplify right hand side. So here it is m raised to power A, m raised to power B. So overall you will have m raised to power A plus B. Now L raised to power minus 2A, here it is minus B, and here is plus C as well. Now the time, so that is minus 2A here and minus B here. So this is the simplified form of RHS. Clear? Yeah. So what to do next? We will generally compare the powers of, you know, MLTs both sides. So when you compare, okay, so I suggested you, let us try to, you know, write down the, or compare, you know, let's compare for M. So when we say comparing powers of M, L and T both sides, clear? So for mass, what we are getting? Tell me. A plus B is equal to 0. So A is equal to minus B, right? And you can take the time also so that we can get the value literally, right? So that is for time t, that is minus 2a and minus b is equal to minus 1. So but minus b is a, so you can say minus 2a plus a is equal to minus 1. So you are left with only minus a is equal to minus 1 or a is equal to 1. And once a is equal to 1, so b will be minus a. So therefore you can say that b is equal to minus a, that is minus 1. So we got the value of b as well, that is minus 1. Okay, now what is left? The length. So when you compare for length L, so it is minus 2a minus b plus c is equal to 3. And what is left now? C is left. Okay, so we will keep C here and 3. This minus 2a go that side, so plus 2a and plus b. Alright, so 3 as it is. The value of a is 1. So here it is, you will be writing this 2 into 1 means 2 and b is minus 1, so minus 1. Right, so the overall result is 4. Clear? Yes. So in this way we are getting the values of a, b, c, and we will substitute these powers in the relation which we have assumed and which is to be derived. Clear? Alright. So let's substitute a, b and c in this assumed relation. So when you will put values of a, b and c. So you will see the rate of flow of volume V is some constant K, pressure gradient P by L raised to power A. And what is the value of A? 1. So you can put 1 or there is no need of putting 1. Then eta raised to power B. B is minus 1. And then R raised to C. C is 4. And because eta is having minus 1 power, okay, so you can take it in denominator, okay. So therefore it's K, P by L, pressure gradient R4, and of course eta in denominator. So this is the final relation, that is the rate of flow of volume, right, is equal to the K pressure gradient R4 divided by eta. So this is the required answer. Is it clear? Yes. So this way, we can take, many more. It's immaterial. Fine. So I think, there I would like to take, one very important, okay, which is asked in competitive examination. So there are many, so I will try to take at least 1 or 2 more. No problem. All right. I think please note it down. Okay, so one problem, okay, which came in IIT JEE, okay, is that we have to derive a relation for, whenever any particle executing SHM, simple harmonic motion. So whenever anything in motion means it possesses energy. So the energy of oscillation, right? So energy of a particle in SHM, that is E, okay, may depend on, so whenever there is oscillation, okay, so it may depend on the mass, may depend on the frequency, right, of the wave or the particle, and of course the amplitude, that is the maximum displacement from the mean position. So the energy of an oscillating particle in SHM, that is simple harmonic motion, say depends on the mass and depend on the frequency and of course a amplitude. So please remember, m is the mass, nu is the frequency, and a is the amplitude. Okay. So we have to derive a relation whether this energy is directly proportional or reciprocal or with square and all that. Okay. Yes. So no issue at all. That is E is equal to some constant K Right, assume some powers a, b, c as usual. So a raised to power m raised to power a, nu raised to power b, a raised to power c. Say this is equation 1. Write the dimensional formulas of both sides. Okay, so you will see energy, that is ml squared t minus 2. As I told you, if you know it, you directly write it down, otherwise you can just try on the right hand side somewhere. Okay, now k is dimensionless. M raised to power a, frequency is reciprocal time, that is t raised to power minus 1 raised to power b. Amplitude is simply the length, that is c. Alright, so therefore you will finally say m raised to power a, l raised to power c, and t raised to power minus b is a simpler form. Right, and here it is ml square t minus 2. Okay, so simply compare. So when you will compare the powers, okay, comparing powers of ml and t, both sides, so directly get, okay, for mass m, when we compare, a is equal to 1, and here is, the for length l, you will see c is equal to 2, and for time you get minus b is equal to minus 2, so b is equal to 2. Clear? So this way we find the values of a, b and c. So all three terms we got. Okay, a we are getting, b we are getting, and c. So when you will substitute these powers of a, b, c in this equation 1, so you will see E is equal to constant, m raised to power a is 1, so we don't write it. Now the nu, the frequency, so power b means 2, the amplitude c, that is 2. So it's very clear that is energy of any oscillating particle in SHM is directly proportional to the m, and nu square a square. Okay, so this is the relation. So it was as in competitive examination. Clear? So this way we can try many questions. Okay, yeah. So I am sure that is you are understanding each and everything. Is it so? Yes. So I think this is all, though we can take many more. Okay, but I think the process is the same. Okay, so I am sure you have understood everything. Okay, so please try all these questions and writing. You will be more confident. Okay, I am sure you understood this class. Okay, very well, and just do the written revision. Okay, so thank you.